slogan in the other room so you don't bother me.
And here we are, Valentine's
Here we
Day
are.
Eve. We are doing a pre record. So, as they said in that famous sketch, talk amongst yourselves. But we're here doing it because tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So, when you watch this on Saturday, let me do the time travel math, you will have had a wonderful Valentine's Day. But today we're going to talk about the movies that if you're still in the Valentine's Day mood, these were the ones you should have been watching, or you can still watch it. You know what? When Valentine's Day is on a Friday, that can just carry over the whole weekend, right?
Exactly.
Party.
Yeah, I mean, and plus they're horror movies. You could watch My Bloody Valentine in April or July if you wanted to.
I do sometimes. Are you much of a Valentine's Day guy? Is that a vibe for you, or are you kind of like, it's commercial bullshit?
Yeah, both me and my partner, like the first couple years we were together, we did it. Like we just did like a little.
Yeah.
But now like it's just we're both like it's commercial bullshit. But you know what? If you celebrate Valentine's Day and you and your other half and other partner, enjoy it, do it. Don't let me saying it's commercial bullshit stop you.
Well, that's the thing. It can still be commercial. I mean, Christmas is commercial bullshit, but hey, man, I love me some Christmas. Decorate that tree. I used to be super anti Valentine's Day, but now that I've had like a daughter, it's like fun to have a holiday. It's fun to do something. It's fun to make Valentines and do crafts and build the little Valentine's Day box and get Valentines for her little friends. And, it's fun to get big bouquets and get them around the house. It gives you an excuse to have fun with it. So I'm coming back around a little bit. I used to go skiing on Valentine's Day. like it's like, yeah, whatever, and then go skiing. And my wife was like, cool, dude. I'm so lucky she didn't leave me.
then you move to the south where it's like 60 degrees on February.
Yeah, no skiing then. We're talking about some Valentine's Day horror movies. Obviously, we can start out with the easy one. My Bloody Valentine, not only one of the best Valentine's Day horror films, one of the most apt, appropriate Valentine's Day horror films, one of the best unsung heroes of the slasher genre. It is, to me, I think it's one of the best slashers ever made. I think it's better than most of the Friday the 13th franchise. And that is big because I'm a huge Jason fan. But I can admit, look, I love them for a very specific reason. My Bloody Valentine has such good characters in it. You have these like small town coal miner dudes.
Like working class.
Yeah. And I believe them. I buy them. There's a guy who looks like Gene Siskel, and I just think he's great. I saw this on VHS a long time ago at Shitty Movie Sunday, which is something I used to do with my buddy Matt, my Launchpad podcasting co-host. And it was one of these movies where I'm like, because I don't work in a coal mining town, because I've never been in a coal mine, I don't know what some of these items are. Their clothes, there's this whole like rigging system for how their clothes are hung from the ceiling. What is that? I don't understand. He uses something that I'm assuming is like some sort of pneumatic coal mining pistol thing for like drilling. He kills a guy with it. I don't know what that is. What do I call that?
Cool.
It was freaking cool. The first time I saw it, it was not the director's cut. So the kills were very muted, still good. But when I saw the director's cut, this is one of the few times where the director's cut is holy shit, so much better. When did you see this movie? Have you seen the director's cut? I'm assuming you have the Blu-ray, so you've seen it.
Yeah. So, I own the Scream Factory edition.
Did you get the poster with it?
No, I just got this one off Amazon. So
I have the poster over there. Yeah, I got the poster.
I do have a poster from Chris Butler Designs right
there
behind me.
Very nice.
So I technically kind of have a poster for it. Yeah. Also check out Chris Butler Designs. He's on Etsy. He has his own website. a lot of the posters, the mini posters you see behind me, like the long legs ones.
Oh, cool,
Like
cool,
if
cool.
you go
Yeah.
back, if you go back and see the previous videos, I usually kind of change it up depending on the theme. Sometimes I usually have a house with 1,000 corpses back there. Yeah, all Chris Butler design. So check them out.
Very
But yeah,
cool.
with My Bloody Valentine, I actually didn't. So of course, my very first job when I was a teenager was at a movie theater. So I worked there from 2008 to late 2009. And we used to, of course, get like promotional items or like, you know, the cardboard cutout things or posters. So I actually didn't hear about this My Bloody Valentine, never heard of it until right before the remake came out in 2009.
Oh, 3D coming at you.
My Bloody Valentine 3D.
See, I need that one. Yeah, okay. Very cool. So you heard about it coming out and you're like, well, check out the original.
Yeah, so I went and checked out the original. Thought it was, you know, it isn't a very enjoyable slasher. Now that I've gotten older and kind of my taste of film has changed, I'd say I appreciate it a whole lot more than I did when I first watched it. And yeah, and then it was one of those like I didn't even know like there was like so that was I know they first brought the director's cut out like 2009. So it was before that. But so I did see the theatrical cut, but yeah, I remember hearing about the director's cut, mostly because of Dead Meat, the kill count. And yeah, it's like 9 minutes was cut out of it because of the MPAA. And
9 whole like again, when I say that this is a director's cut that is head and shoulders above all director's cuts, I mean it. It is 9 minutes, and most of it is gore. Most of it is like solid kill gore. In the opening kill, in the original thing, he slams a topless woman on a pickaxe, and it comes from her heart tattoo. And in the director's cut, you see it a little bit, and then blood sprays on him. In the director's cut, it comes bam out of her. She's screaming. They cut back to it. Blood on him. They cut back to it. They keep seeing it. There's one of my favorite kills in this is near the end, but a guy gets a pickaxe through his lower jaw and out the front, and it pops his eye out. And it's like, and then you see him dragging the body through the jaw with the pickaxe later. And it's like, that's not in the director's cut. All that stuff's added later. A guy gets his head dunked in hot dog water, and boy, like there's so many great kills that you just get like that extra cutback to. And the funny thing is I never knew it needed that. But then when you see it, it's like, man, that just dials it up to from being like a solid 10. That's what makes it an 11 to a 12 to, you know, even it's so good. I love this movie.
And the fun thing is about it is with like if you get the Scream Factory cut, they'll kind of say like we did the best we could restoring the original camera negative that we had. So like you'll get like a high definition like scene, and then when it cuts to the gore scene that was cut out, it's very grainy, kind of more standard, kind of not the best quality, but it's actually kind of neat to watch because like when me and my partner first like got this Blu-ray and we kind of put it in, we're watching it, we were kind of like we could tell when some gore was going to come because we saw it like the film grain, they like switch quality, like okay, here it comes.
It's so great. The miner is just a really cool character too. I got him over here in my case.
I got the NECA figure up on one of my Blu-ray shelves.
Yeah, that's the figure I got. And when the Launchpad went to LA Comic-Con this year, we were doing our Scream Ghostface Killer trivia, and we were in the halls and we saw this like teenage kid with their father dressed as the miner, and we're like, whoa, that kid's on it. And that kid showed up with the father and won my personal Toonie Terror minor NECA figure.
That's awesome.
Won it at the doing trivia, and it was funny because the dad was just trying to get it, and I was like holding it, and then he finally got a question and he got it right, and then I was like, yeah. So we were really rooting for this kid who, I don't know, must have been 16, 15, 16, like young, but like new horror, had the costume, it was great. Heart-shaped, heart in the box.
that's badass because you don't really see a lot of people that age dressed up. You'll see Michaels and ghost faces and maybe do like a Chucky cosplay, but you never see like the Miner. That's so badass.
Yeah, that was super cool. And that to me was so unique. And that was awesome. So yeah, My Bloody Valentine is phenomenal. We love it. And of course, 2009, they come out with this 3D Coming at You remake. I love 3D movies that aren't 3D anymore. And when you watch them, they're just stupid because they're like, hey man, you want to hit this joint? And they're like, the pickaxe is coming at you.
Or the Friday 13th yo-yo.
The yo-yo. I love that stuff. Like, it just gives me the biggest kick whenever like something that's not 3D is like 3D. Watching this movie, somehow you managed to make the plot the exact same, but somehow worse. But the kills are great and it's pretty solid. It's not terrible. It like I said, the kills are good enough and the 3D gimmicks are good enough that I'm on board. But they try to make a pretty faithful remake, but with a twist. And you're like,
with a twist.
I didn't need that twist.
also, Aaron, they do have one thing that, well, even though I do prefer the original better, one thing I do appreciate is for a very small role, they have the horror genre's sexiest man. Who was that, Aaron?
Tom Atkins?
Tom Atkins.
Yeah.
Horror's sexiest man.
Give him a 6-pack and hide your wives, man. I mean, come on. Tom Atkins, from what I hear, and I can't reveal my source, Tom Atkins hates those jokes. A buddy of mine.
He's so sexy.
Well, he hates the like womanizing jokes about him, like Tom Atkins in a 6-pack, he's gonna bang your mom. Like there was a shirt that was like Tom Atkins is gonna bang your mom, and he was so offended, like, because I guess he's not a womanizer in real life, but like in all his movies he is, so he doesn't like that.
He's a womanizer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like he shows up in town. Like there's multiple movies where Tom Atkins shows up in a town. And he's like, hey, I need a beer. And then all of a sudden the next scene, he's like sleeping with somebody. And you're like, that was quick.
The Fog. That's how it is with the Fog. He shows up, picks up Jamie Lee Curtis next scene there in bed at a hotel. The funny thing is, when I watched that movie, because he does not have the mustache. Tom Atkins with the mustache is what makes it. And I remember just watching, I was like, where's his mustache? That's blasphemy.
It's the Tom Selleck of horror, man. It's that stash. It's got that like that like, I don't know. It's like, I didn't want to say grandpa. What is it? Like Silver Fox swagger. He's just old enough to be like, yeah, that guy's like, and he's going to be in multiple movies. Night of the Creeps is on my list in Halloween 3. Where would you like to sleep, Dr. Chickless? That's a stupid question. Yeah, I think you know. That's a very stupid question. What a jerk. I love it. He is great in this movie. Even though it's a small bit part, it's fantastic. This has a lot of like early 2000s CGI eyeballs coming at you, which is amazing. Even though there's some shitty CGI blood in it, it works for the 2000s vibe of it all.
Or the shitty CGI, the scene where I guess he takes the shovel and rams it through the woman's mouth and her head just slides off. Like they made a practical half head for that, and it looked great. But I guess because 3D, they needed to do the CGI, and it didn't look that good.
I think its faults are kind of charming at this point, which is fun. So it's definitely worth checking out. And like it surprised me how good it was for being not a great remake, but at the same time, like surprisingly fun.
For a 2000 like that, there was that whole era of the 2000s where it was
Waxworks. We're gonna do an episode on it. I'm adding it to our list. We're gonna do an episode. We'll get Chris back on here, and we'll do 2000s remakes. Because, yeah, you got 13 Ghosts, House on Haunted Hill, House of Wax, which I love. This one, which is a lot of fun.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, pinnacle of remakes for me.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, which is not even the worst Friday the 13th in the franchise.
It's actually like one of the best.
People shit all over it. People hate it because the characters suck. But it's like, oh, were you here for the character? I'm sorry. Were you here for this motley crew of teenagers looking for weed in the woods? This is what you like. You feel bad. No, I'm here to see them die. The suckier they are, the better.
It just makes it more satisfying.
Oh yeah, my
overall, God. It's a pretty decent remake, even though I don't like 3D movies because they have that real D technology now, and you have, of course, I wear, as you can see, prescription glasses, so I have to like put it over my glasses and constantly adjusting. It's just a pain in the ass.
Clunky. Yeah, I've worked on enough 3D movies. I worked on a lot of 3D movies when I first started in the industry, and they suck. They really suck. They really suck to do because it's not about the sucky part. Isn't about just doing the 3D thing. It's the invisible stuff that people don't realize. So, like, you know, when a lot of times you might have this situation where like a boom dips into the shot, the microphone dips into the shot. Well, my job for a lot of time, you know, you take it, you paint it out. In 3D, when you paint out a microphone, you're dealing with depth as well as the 2D, 3D. So now that I've painted out a microphone, there's a hole in 3D space that I need to patch in. And that was so difficult to do affordably, cheaply, in using 2D tools. It was crazy. So that was always just a pain. 3D movies just made me and like they were also like when you're working on them, they can be really dangerous. I had a situation where I had the 3D goggles on, I'm looking at a 3D screen, and one of the eye channels shut off and my brain just went bam, and I saw black and white for 2 days straight. Color, just all the because your brain was like I'm being fed your left eye and your right eye separately. That's how 3D works. And then one of them disappeared and the brain was like, I'm going to try and fill in that space. I don't know how to do that. Boom. And I just like instant migraine. I saw black and white for like 2 days. It was insane.
Oh God.
What else are we talking about?
Hey, it's a good thing that it's a good thing we don't get a lot of 3D movies anymore.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine if that happened to an entire audience? Just everybody screaming.
That's why I don't go. That's why there's a 2D showing. I always choose 2D. So yeah, one movie I do want to talk about, not Valentine's Day themed, but it has some love in it.
What do you got?
1998's Bride of Chucky. I have
big hearts for that one.
I have Chucky and Tiffany right behind me.
That. And Glenn back there. What's up, Glenn?
And Glenn. Got to show Seed of Chucky some love because it's overhated.
It is overhated. Not overrated. It's overhated. I think it is. I think it is a wrongly maligned film. They were going to their camp roots. Anyway, we're not talking about Seed. We're talking about Bride.
Bride.
So good, man.
So good. So yeah, this one follows up not long after Child's Play 3, which many consider to be the worst of the Child's Play franchise. By the way, if you follow Block of Horror on X, go down to September 28th episode of Half Hour Horror. Back when we used to be exclusive on X Spaces, an audio live podcast on X Spaces, we did a whole Chucky franchise. Deep dive.
Whole thing, yeah.
We did the whole thing. We did the movies, we did the shows, we did the remake. But yeah, so this one follows after Child's Play 3. Tiffany, who is the long lost lover of Charles Lee Ray, manages to grab the shredded up pieces of Chucky, stitches them back together, uses some voodoo magic, a little bit of voodoo magic.
Voodoo for dummies,
yeah, voodoo for dummies, brings them back to life. And in the meantime, there is an obnoxious teenage couple running away or something.
Oh, it is a star-crossed lovers situation that gets made even worse by star-crossed serial killers. Jennifer Tilly, just
so good.
What an icon. she was awesome before she did this, and to me this just cemented her next stage of her career, of just being unbelievable. She just, what a performance, to the doll, what a performance as she plays herself, and then in the later films playing herself in the body of Jennifer Tilly, which
and then
so great.
playing herself but possessed by Tiffany
Yes.
Valentine. Oh my god, she's so good. But yeah, you're right, this did kind of cement her, because I know around this time, because this came out in 1998, she was pretty big. Like because she had just been nominated for an Oscar for Bullets Over Broadway. She had just been in Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, which was huge. So just like the fact that she actually went from those to going to a slasher movie, like, and also it really revitalized the Child's Play franchise, because this was the first one since 1991 after Child's Play 3. So 7 years, and it's because Child's Play 3 was so poorly received. It did not do well at the box office. So, just waiting a few years, waiting for kind of the Scream, where Scream kind of really revitalized the slasher, where it had a lot of meta comedy, a lot of self-aware humor. Plus bringing in at that point, like one of the biggest stars, up and coming stars in the world, and an Oscar nominee. I think it just really put the Child's Play and Chucky franchise to that next level.
It also had strange crossover appeal. Like, people who didn't like horror thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the puppets doing funny things, which, is always a good formula.
Look at them having sex.
Yeah. And it surprisingly had big crossover, which is funny. Who is the other? There's somebody else in here, and I keep wanting to say it's John Denver. It's not. It's John Ritter, isn't it? Is it John?
John Ritter's in it, and a very young Katherine Heigl.
Yes, Katherine Heigl, John Ritter. Yeah, great stuff. I love this movie. I think it's so funny. They have such great chemistry. The puppeteering in it is next level.
Fantastic.
We said this when we originally did this. Child's Play, all the way through the Chucky series and back again, is the most consistent franchise, period.
Absolutely.
All of their movies know what they're doing. They hit the mark. It's consistently good. Whether you like the movie or rank the movies this here or there, whatever, it's at least consistent. Even in Seed of Chucky, it's like, we're being sleazy, lowbrow camp horror. That's what they do, and they do it well. Even if that's not your vibe, they did it well. Child's Play 3, I think, is the lowest one, and because it was out of ideas at that point. It was like, well, we'll just put the doll in a different place. Yeah,
it literally came out 9 months after Child's Play 2, which many consider to be
highlight,
like
great,
the best Chucky movie, which I agree, it's my favorite. But at that point, he pretty much, it was a studio rushing a writer to make something, and he really needed time. And this really shows what time can do. I mean, 7 years, and just getting inspiration from stuff like Scream and other films around that time, which a lot of the Scream knockoffs, where you get a lot of that meta humor, you get a lot of like very young, attractive actors, and it really, I think this really came out at a great time where people were hungry for slashers like this. And it's a already established franchise taking on that formula, as opposed to something like I Know What You Did Last Summer or Urban Legend. This is like, oh, I recognize Chucky. I know a couple months earlier they had Halloween H2O, which I think is great. I know a lot of younger fans don't like it, but
that's the first. That's the first time we saw it. It's the alternate universe where Jamie Lee Curtis, instead of becoming traumatized, like became a girl boss, and it's. At the time, I thought it was great. Now that we've had other iterations, like, I see that it's like, it's a little weird, but it still has some really great pieces to it. Chucky remains relevant to this day and has such a great ability to reinvent itself continually. Just like, we're going in this direction, we go back to serious, we're going campy, we're going weird meta horror. Like, I love it, and its vibe now throughout the TV show has just been so fun and always delivering on the kills. Chucky's an icon, and Bride of Chucky is a great Valentine's Day one.
Oh yeah, it's definitely watch with your other half on Valentine's Day if you like horror. Aaron,
Yeah.
what's another one you got for me?
Oh man, I'm torn because I have um a weird one because we were talking about Giallo before we got on and saying how we're going to do a Giallo episode, uh, which is one of my favorite subgenres. But this is an interesting one because it's a French Giallo. It is taking all that inspiration, and it is this is Knife and Heart, and it is
Knife
a
and Heart.
very interesting. It's a very interesting slasher, dripping with atmosphere, um, sex. It is a woman. She is a in 1979. She's a gay porn producer, and she tries to make her most ambitious film yet. But her actors keep getting killed one by one. It is visually stunning, an incredible um, uh, uh, soundtrack. The soundtrack is by M83. I want to say crazy good soundtrack. Um, yeah, M83 scores melodic, crazy kills, pretty brutal, but like very dreamlike. And I'm just was super impressed with it, and it fits into that giallo thing. It's French, so there's subtitles. It also makes for the story to be a little unconnected and more about the vibe than about the story. There's a lot of like sort of dreamlike sequences and running around subways, but like I dig it. The killer's creepy, the kills are brutal, and it fits into that giallo thing. And I think it's just like that dreamlike state of a movie like this, or like a good giallo that fits the Valentine's Day vibe.
So yeah, I have not heard of this, so I'm gonna add that it's when I'm seeing on Letterbox, it is streaming on Shutter, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
And I'm adding it to our Letterbox list. By the way, for those watching, I am doing a Letterbox list of films we talked about today, plus a little bit of my personal recommendations or movies that fit with the theme, whether I like them or not. I usually just throw them on there. So after the show's over on X, on this video, because we do stream on blogofhorror.com at the Prophets Theater, YouTube, and X, on the video, I will drop the link to the letterbox of the films we watch. If you want to watch something, if you know Saturday night want to watch a spooky horror movie with your other half, got some recommendations for you that we talked about on the show. Also, since we're not live, we won't be bringing up the little bubble boxes that we usually do. I'll be in the chat. I'll be chatting with y'all on YouTube, just chatting with y'all, and we can talk. If you got some stuff you want us to talk about or some recommendations for me, go ahead and do it.
I think we could make a very educated guess and be like, "What's up, Karen? Oh, Izzy, KG, Chaos, what's going on?" Like, we have our regulars, and we appreciate you guys. So, thanks to everybody who tune in, regardless of whether we're here or not. We appreciate everybody who tunes in and listens to us week after week. We love our half-hour horror block of horror family. You guys are awesome. Much love.
Yes,
Valentine's to you all. What's another good one, man? What do you got?
I actually, happy you asked.
He's got it right here.
One. I got it right here. 2001 Valentine.
Oh,
what a cast! Speaking of Katherine Heigl, we just talked about her.
Yes,
she's in this. Along with Denise Richards and Marley Shelton.
Denise Richards, David Boreanaz of Angel fame, Mary Shelton, Jessica Capshaw, Katherine Heigl. Like, it is. This is like such a quintessential 2000 slasher. Not the best, but like this was like after you had already had Scream. You had
what you did last summer, Halloween H2O, your Urban Legend,
which are all better films. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Valentine took all of this and tried to put it into one movie. It is at the bottom of this. Yeah. At the tail end.
The last of it. Yeah. Because all the other ones like Urban Legend, like, all the original Scream trilogy before they did, 4, 5, and 6.
It's standing on the shoulders of these other films.
Yeah. It literally, because all those came out, because Scream came out in 96. Everything else kind of came out like between 97 and 2000. Like, I would say Scream 3 was kind of like the cap end, like the ending of that, like kind of 90s meta slasher. This came out a year later, and this was like kind of like you said, it takes the entire formula. Like, you got a pretty young cast, like not pretty young, like, oh, they're pretty young, like they're pretty and they're young. They're somewhat known names, and you get kind of like everything that all those slashers did. I mean, to be fair, better, but it's just all wrapped up into like one chocolate box, pun intended.
Yes. I will say this has a phenomenal kill in a hot tub. That's a good scene. The cast is catty as hell. So if you like those reality shows from that era where they had the after show, which was just like chicks screaming at each other and throwing shoes and stuff, this crew has that catty vibe, and they're mean to each other, and like you're just like, I can't wait to see the next one get picked off. Oh, good, here it comes. It cruises too. I think it doesn't feel over bloated for what it is, but it is very funny to me that like it's directed by the same person who did Urban Legends, so that's why it kind of has that like that vibe done so well.
And the thing is, he was trying to go for something different.
Yep, and they were like, "No, get back here!
You're doing. We want the sort of like Scream movie."
Yeah, exactly. This is on sale right now. PSA on sale for $6.99 on Prime. In case anybody was interested.
Digital or the Scream Factory Blu-ray?
I think it's digital.
Okay.
Yeah. This is somebody that I follow on Letterboxd. Literally just posted this while I'm looking at the reviews for it. So she also says this is. She's like, I miss new metal horror. This is very much new metal horror. like, I mean, you think about that era, and it's like, yeah, Marilyn Manson's on here for sure. There's obviously like
Orgy, probably.
Orgy, exactly.
Probably. Yeah.
Prodigy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too. Probably some Creed somewhere in there.
It is an insanely stacked cast. It gets a lot of hate, but it doesn't deserve it. And I think it gets a lot of hate because of how unlikable the characters are. But again, are you here for the characters to be nice to you, or do you just want to watch?
You want the kills.
I'm here for the kills. Yes, 100%. That's hysterical.
Yeah, I have. Okay, this is going to be, Aaron, you're going to remember this. Some of our younger viewers aren't going to remember this. Do you remember the Warner Brothers DVD? Because like usually with DVDs, it's usually kind of this plastic case.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, the snap. Do you remember what Warner Brothers used to do that was different?
No. What is it?
Cardboard.
Oh, yeah, with that little snap on the side. Oh, yeah.
This is old school. This is how old this movie is. But yeah, old school right here.
So I just pulled up the soundtrack. You want to run down?
Let me guess a couple.
Yeah, okay.
There's probably Orgy's cover of New Order's Blue Monday.
Orgy's song Opticon is on here.
Okay, because so usually it's always Orgy's cover of Blue Monday.
Right.
The do that one. Okay, probably something by Marilyn Manson.
Valentine's Day by Marilyn Manson. He did a song for this movie.
Living Dead Girl, probably by Rob Zombie.
Super Beast by Rob Zombie.
Fuck. I was close.
Dude, you're crushing it though, that you're getting all these people. I don't think I could. I would have been able to name Marilyn Manson probably. But yeah, what else you got?
Something by Creed. There's got to be a Creed song in there.
No, I'm not seeing Creed. Doesn't mean there isn't like a bigger version, but yeah, no Creed. But like so Static X is on here.
Limp Bizkit.
No Limp Bizkit.
No.
But there's a Linkin Park. Pushing Me Away by Linkin Park, God of the Mind by Disturbed, Deftones is on here, Static X, Orgy. Those are the ones that I specifically are like, oh yeah, that guy.
Wait.
Snake River. I don't know. Like, I've never heard of Snake River Conspiracy. Sorry to all the hardcore fans.
Is there one on there? It's Rob Zombie's brother's band, Power Man 5000. Does it have Power Man 5000?
You're blowing my mind right now. No Power Man 5000, but wait, that's Rob Zombie's brother. I didn't know Rob Zombie had a brother. I didn't know that was Power Man 5000. I remember the video for their "This Is What It's Like When Worlds Collide."
Yeah. Drop the bombshell.
I always thought that was Rob Zombie.
No, that's Rob Zombie's brother.
Hysterical. So yeah, there's your new metal soundtrack to Valentine. Hysterical, because when I think of a Denise Richards vehicle, I do not think of Power Man 5000 or Linkin Park songs. That's hysterical. I have another movie with Denise Richards in it, the first film she starred in.
Ooh, hit it with me.
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Tammy and the T-Rex. I have not seen this. Tell me about it.
That's because it's a complete piece of shit. Okay. Oh my God, I love this movie so much. Okay. Tammy and the T-Rex is Denise Richards' first starring role. It is also the first starring role for Paul Walker.
What?
Yep. So Paul Walker is Denise Richards' boyfriend, and some bullies murder him because there was a moment in the 80s and 90s, this comes out in 1994, where bullies were like murderous pieces of shit. Like, if you got like a bunch of like bullies, they'd like drag you down and stuff you in a toxic waste dump, and then you'd mutate into a monster. So his brain gets removed from his body and put inside an animatronic T-Rex. Not the movie treats it as like an animatronic T-Rex, like from a museum, and the brain gets put inside of the T-Rex. The scientist for this movie, who is in the animatronic thing, is the weird kid from Children of the Corn. Then the T-Rex becomes
blasphemous.
Yes. Then the T-Rex becomes sentient and talks, and then goes back to Denise Richards, and they continue their romance while he goes and gets revenge on the mad scientist and the bullies. It is so bizarre. Also, when the movie opens, it's Tanny spelled wrong, and the Teenage T-Rex. That's not the name of the movie, and that's not her character's name. They just spelled it. They just were like, I don't know, make up a title. Its own title is spelled wrong in the opening credits of the film. It is one of the most like hilarious, like, how did this get made movies ever. And I kind of dig it. I love it. I got it from Vinegar Syndrome when it was on sale. And it is one of those movies that if you pop on with a group of people, everybody at one point is just like, how did this happen? Who said, yes, here's money. It also, like, it's crazy because we all know those people are huge stars now, and you just don't, it's just weird to see them in a piece of shit movie about an animatronic T-Rex killing people. Also, he doesn't get his body back. She just ends up banging the dinosaur.
So it's like Family Guy episode where all the human women love Brian.
It is 100%. It seems like a Family Guy joke that doesn't stop for an hour and a half. And you're just like, yeah, but like the movie's going to like stop being completely a joke, right? Nope, I'm just going to double down. It's hysterical. So funny and so bad that you love it. It's got enough kills in it that you're like, oh, great. Biting off heads. It has no clue what its tone is. It's like at one point it's chomping off heads and brains are spilling out. And the next moment it's like, I love you, dinosaur. And you're like, what? What? So good. So crazy, dude. It's a fun one for Valentine's Day too, because it's not serious. It's stupid enough that you can laugh and not pay attention. And,
it's on Tubi.
It's on Tubi. Great.
Of course it's on Tubi.
Oh, so good. Young baby Paul Walker. It is wonderful.
When did this come out? He would have probably been like what, late teens, early
1994. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have probably been like early 20s.
It is.
Lord, I have not heard of this.
It's so bizarre, man. Like it really is one of those movies. They're just like, how does this happen? But I bought it on Blu-ray, a special edition. I paid like $40 for this thing.
that's Vinegar Syndrome. They'll take like the shittiest, like least known horror movie,
Yep.
hype it up, put beautiful packaging on it, just hype it on their website. You're reading this. I'm like, I gotta see this. I've never seen it. I gotta see it. You'll buy it. It'll come in, and then you're like, this movie sucks, but I enjoyed it. I just did that with Iced, which is like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just got the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, the Blu-ray, and I was like, they were hyping. I was like, oh, ski resort, slasher stalking young victims. I was like, this sounds awesome. Bought it. We watch it. No, it's terrible.
Yeah, Tammy and the T-Rex.
I spent like $45 on it too.
Oh man. Okay, so Tammy and the T-Rex. So it's on sale right now for $22. The 4K UHD is for $32. They're selling Valentine's Day Vinegar Syndrome shirts with a cartoon Tammy and the T-Rex on it, which that's so fun.
Let me tell you, for those who don't know, $22 for Vinegar Syndrome, that's like $5 bin at Walmart. Like
that's like it's free practically. Yeah. They're giving them away. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. Yeah. So there's the T-shirt, Tammy and the T-Rex Vinegar Syndrome Valentine's Day shirt. Good for them. How did they know that we would be talking about this as a Valentine's Day movie? Have you ever done $5 bin roulette?
I have not, but every time I go to Walmart, I'm like the guy you see that's like
digging in there. Well, then you sort of have. So my wife and I would do this thing when it was like we didn't have a lot of money, and we'd go to Walmart, go to the $5 bin, roll up your sleeve, dig down, no looking, no peeking, shuffle. Whatever you pull out, you're buying and watching that night. And we, sometimes it's like randomly the box set of all the Naked Gun films. Great, that's funny. I like that. One of them was this movie called Quigley, and it was, oh my God, it's Gary Busey gets trapped in like a tiny little fluffy foofy dog and then has to like help people. It's like Touched by an Angel, but with Gary Busey's voice. So I'm like, it's the ginger dead man's voice inside like a Pyrenees little foofy dog, and it has like a weird Christian message. It was so stupid.
Aaron,
yeah.
Do you know who? Okay, first of all, I'm adding that to the letterbox list. Second of all, do you know who's in this movie with Gary Busey?
Who? Oz Perkins.
Holy Perkins.
Shit.
Speaking of Oz Perkins, I just got to see an early preview. So again, this will be airing on Saturday, but me and Aaron are recording on a Thursday night. So Wednesday, I actually got to see an early preview at the Monkey.
How was it?
Oh, good. So good.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm rooting for Oz Perkins. I was not the biggest fan of Long Legs. It wasn't bad, but I think it was super hyped up for me, and I came out being like, yeah, it was fine. But like, he's a good director. I think he's a really good director. And I think that he's on to some stuff here. So I'm excited to see what he does. Again, the same problem I had with Mandy. Anytime you have the caliber of Nick Cage in your movie, if you're a young director, it's you and Nick Cage. You're acting your asses off and you're directing your little ass off. And you're just like, all right, I get it. It's awesome. But like, settle down. They're like, no, hope you're buckle up. You're going to get 3 more minutes of Nick Cage being wild.
Let him go full Nick Cage.
I can't believe this is Oz Perkins acting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He was also the nerdy guy in Legally Blonde, which is crazy to me too.
That is absolutely bonkers. Yeah, this movie is awful, by the way, but like so low budget and terrible, but also absolutely hysterically bad. So yeah, there's Quigley. No, shut up. There's a Quigley 2. Guess I got to go back to Walmart and see if I can dig it out.
I know what you're watching tonight.
Quigley's Christmas Adventure. But honey, it's February. Quigley's Christmas Adventure.
It's also the first one's on Tubi, by the way. If you want to check that out.
Be like, the horror. Why are we watching the Gary Busey dog movie? Because the funny horror guys recommended it. It is horrific. I mean, Gary Busey voicing a dog. Hit me with another movie before I start talking about other random movies that don't fit our.
I got a little bit of a recent one for you. Came out last year. Another one I got to see early.
Yeah.
Bam.
Lisa Frankenstein. Yeah.
So good. Fun. Set in the 80s, directed by what's her name? Sorry guys, my brain is fucked. Zelda Williams, the daughter of Robin Williams, but written by Diablo Cody, who
Jennifer's Body.
Speaking of, go down to September if you follow Block of Horror on X. Me, Aaron, Patrick Mediate, and Chompy all did a great episode on that. But yeah, this one is so good. And this one is really good. I actually got to see this one early last year too, as a part of a mystery screening. Yeah, this one is a lot of fun. You get Catherine Newton playing a socially awkward girl, kind of also dealing with the death of her mother. The father moved in with this new woman, married her. She's kind of
sucks.
Yeah, she's terrible. But she
it's a Cinderella story in a way. It's Cinderella by way of Frankenstein.
Yeah, and one of the things she does is read stories to the graves of the bachelors from like the 1800s. Lightning strikes. One of them ends up coming back to life and coming to see her. And yeah, Cole Sprouse, who is phenomenal. I think most people would know him from Riverdale. I know him from I Can Wipe My Own Ass from Big Daddy.
That's who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Him and his twin brother, which speaking of, Big Daddy's going on the list.
Oh my God, Big Daddy. So funny. Oh, that Adam Sandler era. Hats off. This movie was really fun. I saw it on a plane because I was holding off from it because I don't like 80s movies that are trying to remind me that it's the 80s. I get a chip on my shoulder about movies. They're like, we're in the 80s, you 80s kid. I'm like, yeah, you didn't live through it. Fuck you. But I like but then every time I watch, like I have a chip on my shoulder about them, but then like Totally Killer, I was like, well, that was just some good fucking fun. And this movie, same thing. Well, that was just some fun.
And it doesn't hit you in the face too hard that this is an 80s movie, which a lot of those kind of movies do, unfortunately. But no, this one, it feels very natural.
It was clever. It's very clever.
Very clever. Very clever. And hats off because all the performances were great. The one that plays Lisa's dad, he's also in Stranger Things. He's basically playing the same character.
Yep.
This kind of like, I'm the dad kind of guy.
He doesn't know what to do with his daughter that is bringing corpses back from the dead and has a corpse in her bedroom. They have fun with it. And I like that she then goes off the rails trying to impress a living boy, and the zombie gets kind of jealous. It's more of a zombie movie than a Frankenstein movie but the cool thing about the Frankenstein thing is he has body parts that are missing or falling off, and she starts killing people and sewing the body parts to him to make him better, which is really fun. I like that. That's great.
Especially towards the end when she finds out that he doesn't have a manhood anymore, because remember she goes and he grabs her hand and he just stands there like that.
And she's like, uh-oh.
After he just cut off his after he just cut off Lisa's crush's thingy.
There's some dick chopping in this one, much like in just like in our last episode when we talked about street trash. There's a little bit more of that action in this movie.
A little bit of dick choppy action.
Yep,
you get a little bit of that.
And then, but then she keeps frying him with the broken tanning bed, which is pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that's how he kind of goes back to normalcy too.
We've never talked about Frankenhooker, have we?
No, I love Frankenhooker.
Yeah, Henenletter, man. We could do a whole Henenletter thing because he did Basket Case, he did Frankenhooker, he did Brain Damage. Not the Australian, not the New Zealand one. I love Henenletter's films, and like Frankenhooker is a lot of fun. And the tanning bed reminded me of Frankenhooker.
I mean, heck, we could talk about Frankenhooker for this episode too, because it kind of falls under.
We could, yeah. Frankenhooker is a lot of fun.
Or do you want to save that for a later show?
We'll just mention Frankenhooker is a lot of fun. It's not
throw off Frankenhooker.
It is sleazy. I think a lot of people are turned off by a movie called Frankenhooker, but it is having more fun than it ever deserves. And there's an entire scene where a bunch of prostitutes do a ton of tainted cocaine and they all start exploding. And there's bodies and blood just everywhere. Like he's trying to kill one prostitute to harvest her body parts, which is darkly hilarious in its own right. But a whole bunch of prostitutes like jump him for the cocaine, not knowing that it's laced, and makes them explode. just an entire scene of exploding women of the night. Apologies. We respect women.
Yeah, exactly.
but it's fucking hysterical. I'm sorry.
It's hilarious.
The movie cracks me up, and the whole movie is done like that. One of my good buddies, Gino Crognoli, is in that film, and he is he is an OG legend in the makeup industry. In the Walking Dead series, he's the zombie with all the spikes on his helmet. Wilson or Winston, he played that zombie. But he is in that movie. He comes on and goes, "Hey baby, how about them Mets?" And she comes over and kisses him, and he goes, "Ah!" And his like lightning shoots out of him, and then his head just flies out a window and into a trash can. That's my buddy.
Oh my
Gino.
God, I can't wait for us to get to that episode.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, Henenletter is an OG, just trash master. He's great.
Which, speaking of, you need it whenever you get a chance. Send me a list so that way I can kind of prep for that episode.
Oh yeah, oh freaking great. Oh, let's see what Gerald's Game. We can mention that one.
I have not seen that, but I need to because one, it's done by Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, I love me some Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan. And yeah, that was kind of around the time Netflix were doing all those Stephen King adaptations. So I know that one is
good Stephen King adaptation too.
And I know it's one of those speaking of good Stephen King adaptations, go see The Monkey next week. It's really good. But I know it's about a middle-aged couple that rent a secluded cabin.
Yep. They're trying to spice it up.
During kind of a sex play gone wrong, I think with handcuffs.
He handcuffs her to the bed and then has a heart attack and dies on top of her. And she's trapped here and she starts hallucinating and it's weird and trippy and really good. Really good. The ending is weird, but like, dude, what Stephen King ending isn't super weird? But they were at least at least they were true to the book, which I didn't know if that helped it or not. Because it could have been, they could have gone their own direction and just left it the way you expect it to be and been like, oh, well, that was good. But instead they're like, nope, we're going to be true to the book. And you're like, well, that's weird. And they're like, yeah, well, Stephen King, what do you want?
Expect the unexpected. Yeah, and it's got Carla Gugino. I love Carla Gugino. She's great. The Mom and Spy Kids. Yeah, she's so fantastic.
Good. Yeah, Gerald's Game is great. You got any more?
Netflix too. I actually have a few I can mention.
I have some honorable mentions now.
You know what? We talked about it a little bit before we went on air. And I mentioned, would that count? And you said yes.
The Crow. Yeah. So the original Crow, great, based on a comic book that is much better than anything that has ever been put to screen. The original, like, now this one had a new metal ass soundtrack to it, some more Marilyn Manson. I love The Crow. It's so stylistic and great, and
gorgeous.
It just hits that vibe really well. Super emo.
You get Brandon Lee, who's great in it. So it is about a man who is a rock star who him and his girlfriend were murdered brutally by a street gang.
Yep.
Then of course, he comes back to life because of the powers of the crow in order to get revenge, in order so he can rest in peace. Also, the guy that plays the main villain, Michael Wincott, he was also in a recent horror movie a couple years ago. You know what I'm talking about? Purple People Eater. The Nope.
Oh, he's in Nope.
Yeah, he's the director, dude. The one that randomly goes Purple People Eater. Like
yeah. He's great, man. He's so good in a lot of stuff. He plays such he's got a great voice and a good look. Super fun.
He's really good in this too as the villain. Like you hate him.
Yeah.
Like
he's in is he in Alien? Yeah, Alien Resurrection. I really like him in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah. So yeah, he's really good in this. Of course, you got the great late Tony Todd in this, playing kind of his sidekick. But yeah, this is just a really good movie. A love story about two lovers who were murdered, and now one of them was brought back to life by the spirit of the crow, and he's just kicking ass and taking names to anyone who wronged him and was involved with it.
I mean, you got Ernie Hudson. Oh man, Hudson. David Patrick Kelly is in this, who super famous. I can't do it because I don't have 5 bottles. Warriors, come out and play. Yeah, if you like that guy, he's in this movie. I mean, it is also such a product of its time. It's got that Matrix thing going on. So goth,
very goth.
Yeah. This is 1994, man. Is that before The Matrix? When did The Matrix come out? Is that 1999?
99.
Oh my God, this is pre-Matrix. But it's so Hot Topic. Like Hot Topic saw this and go, I'm gonna make a store right now, and I'm just gonna sell this vibe. I love it. It's obviously it's a cursed film too because of the death of Brandon Lee, which crazy. I'm sure I'm going to let you guys look it up. Right. I'm not going to damper the Valentine's Day mood, but it was an accident on set from a prop gun. It was not a real bullet. It was a fragment was stuck in a prop gun. Really terrible accident, but at the end of the day, horrible. Yeah, very sad. Of course, Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee, most famously.
Yeah, this one is definitely a must check out. And you know what? If you're one of those goths in the Hot Topic, you want to put something on for Valentine's Day?
The Crow. Yeah.
The Crow.
The Crow will get you some chill if you throw that on. Yeah. Here's another great honorable mention, The Love Witch. I don't know if this movie's it's 2016. The movie is a visual feast. The movie is just gorgeous. It has that dripping in 70s Technicolor vibe, but it came out in 2016.
I saw a trailer for this on Shudder and I almost watched it. I'm going to have to get around to this now because I was like, oh, the cool 70s movie. And I was like, what? This was only made 9 years ago?
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. I think a lot of people are going to find it kind of boring. I'll just put that out there. But I don't know. It encapsulated everything about that era to me, and the look, and sort of the Hammer horror culty stuff going on. San Francisco witches. I give it a lot of props. I don't know if I want to sit down and watch it every year, but at the same time, I'm like, man, when you make a movie and you're like, we're going to make it look like the 70s, they just crushed it. It looks so good.
So this is probably one of those that you probably just check out just so you can kind of see the visuals and kind of that throwback to that old Hammer horror style.
And it's very sexy. I mean, she's trying to make men fall in love with her, but they're all pieces of shit, and she ends up killing them or sacrificing them and spells and stuff.
I'm gonna have to check this one out now. I'm very interested. I should have watched this when I saw ooh, this looks really throwback, but I didn't get around to it. So I'm gonna check this one out now.
Yeah, go for it. Sort of an anti-Valentine's Day one. Possession. This is
Possession.
one of the wildest films ever, because you have performances by let me pull up these names because I'm gonna. So you have Sam Neill of Jurassic Park fame and Isabella Adjani. And the performances in it are unhinged, like to the point that
Oh,
as a viewer, you're like, this is like something like, oh my God, you're ripping these people apart. They both have stated that after making this movie, they were in such dark places they had to like get help. The director, I can't even pronounce his name, Andrzej Zulawski, Andrzej. Zulawski. It's about it's about a couple and their infidelities start to come to the surface. They're a couple that's about to get a divorce, and then there's Lovecraftian monsters and horror as she starts to like murder and consume men, and it's no words. It is not a feel good movie. It's not a fun, gross horror movie. It is a gut wrenching, emotional roller coaster that is makes you be like, man, there's something unsafe about this director. He is not okay in the head. Definitely worth watching though, because it's a mark of cinema. There's scenes that's just like 2 minutes of her. Like again, my complaint for like what happened in Mandy or Longlegs, they do the same thing in this movie, but it blows you away just because I don't know, because maybe because she isn't the caliber of Nick Cage where you're like, oh, well, here he is acting his ass off. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why it works here and then doesn't work for me in those movies. But yeah, Possession is a wild, that's a headspace one. If you're like, fuck Valentine's Day, fuck the world, watch this movie and it'll validate those feelings.
Another one that's an anti-Valentine's Day horror movie, Antichrist, with Willem Dafoe.
Yes.
Oh boy,
I was not prepared for the baby death and close-up penetration 5 minutes into this movie. I don't know if you knew this though. Antichrist is paid homage in a children's animated film.
Really?
Do you
Which
remember Rango, the animated film where Johnny Depp is a lizard?
I haven't seen that one, but they pay homage to that.
There's literally a scene where Rango's falling out of his cage into the desert, and it is a shot for shot with even the soundtrack to Antichrist.
No.
Yeah,
Don't
which
do
is
that.
like what a weird deep dive. Why would you put that there?
That would
because
be
it's by
like
the same director.
Wait, Lars von Trier did Rango?
No. Sorry, no. Gore Verbinski did Rango. Lars von Trier did. Yes, never mind. Completely different directors of movies.
That would be like Toy Story 5 doing an homage to Solo or 120 Days in Sodom.
Yeah, all that scene where Woody and Buzz eat as many Tootsie Rolls as possible.
That's another one I will never watch again. And I'm not putting that on the Letterboxd list because I recommend no one watch that.
No one should watch that movie. Nobody should read that book. Just awful. Just
terrible.
Movies. It's amazing how many movies like live in infamy. You know, like Serbian film or something like that, where you're just like, oh, why? But like, you know, they're. I'm glad that there's movies that are talked about in hushed tones. But it's also funny because we live in an era where everything's just available to you. It used to be impossible to find Salo. It used to be impossible to find Cannibal Holocaust.
But now like Grindhouse Releasing has a Blu-ray of Cannibal Holocaust and Criterion has Salo.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's. I don't even know if it's an important film. It's wild.
That was one of those. I used to work at this coffee house that was next door to an 2-screen art house theater in my town. And I made buddies with the 2 employees at the art house theater. And I remember one day texting one of them. I was like, hey man, I want to watch a horror movie. Give me something really fucked up.
Oh.
And he said Solo 120 Days in Sodom. I was like, okay. And I remember texting him after. I was like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
yeah, gnarly. The fuckers. Not okay. None of that's okay. I'm having like flashbacks because I got it. I saw it in college. Yeah, I got a hold of it, and it was like. But again, you had to go through channels. Like you had to go to a library and request it from the library, and the library said no. But we can tell you where you can get it from this other place, and like I had to go and watch it in a booth, like it was a porno theater, but it was at a specialty library that archived films, and it was in Boston, but I couldn't take it with me, and I watched this movie like in a fairly public setting. Awkward.
People walking by seeing
well, and it wasn't because like you're in a booth and you have headphones on, but you're just like you can look up over the booth and see people walking past, like checking out normal thing like books and periodicals, and this guy's studying for his law degree, and this guy goes to MIT, and here I am gooning out at hello like an idiot. Oh God. But I was a cinephile. I was there for the cinema. God. I like, I think all horror fans go through a phase where you're like, I want the goriest, I want the most fucked up. And then you get a little bit older and that either cements in you and you're going to be like that forever, which is fine. You can like what you want. Just don't inflict it on other people.
I was about that college age when I saw Solo, and actually when I saw Antichrist. So that was around the time I was like, I want to watch the most messed up things possible. And now I'm like, I don't want to watch those.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to watch those.
But I enjoy knowing about them, and that's the thing. Like I'll look them up, but like, we could get into a taboo episode where we talk about some of that stuff.
It might have to be an X exclusive because I think some of the content we'll have to talk about. I think that'll mess up the algorithm on YouTube.
Oh yeah, YouTube kicks us off immediately. Yeah, we'll just put it it'll be
an X exclusive,
a secret special of the gnarly. Yeah, I could be X down for that.
And the X and the Prophet Theater exclusive.
Yeah, talking about the Narnar. That could be fun. Anyway, I think we've hit our mark. I think
so.
Fun though. There's a lot of them. One
more. I actually got one more. All right, yeah. You name yours first because I think ours is gonna be the same.
Cemetery Man?
No, actually, tell me about it. I want to hear about Cemetery Man.
Cemetery Man is a romantic comedy with corpses, and it's a guy who works it's an Italian film, but not necessarily giallo. Guy works at a cemetery, and a woman that he falls in love with dies, and the corpses in his cemetery come back to life. So every night he has to go out and put the corpses back down. But when the woman that he's kind of in love with is brought there and buried there, he's like, oh, sweet. Maybe I'll get to meet cute. And he has like a real weirdo gravedigger buddy who also falls in love with a corpse in there, but it's just her head. What a weird film. It is very weird, but super, I don't know, charming and bizarre at the same time. Worth checking out for sure. Cemetery Man. Good romance.
Check this out. And my last one I'm going to mention, Night of the Creeps, also starring sexiest man, Tom Atkins.
How did I not remember to bring that up? Vamp on Night of the Creeps. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab my Tom Atkins doll.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Night of the Creeps, 1986. It is basically kind of like a mishmash of these kind of like old B movie. It's like, it's got aliens. It's got so sexy.
Sexy Tom Atkins.
Sexiest action figure ever made.
He comes with Miller High Lifes.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, he comes with Miller High Life. That's awesome.
The reason I have this is because I wanted his autograph, and you had to buy this to get it, and it came on a silver shamrock medallion. So I have his autograph and him and a beer.
But yeah, so basically it's set in a college, two kind of your nerdy kids going, they're like, yeah, we want to join this fraternity because one of them wants to impress this sorority girl. Yeah, and it turns out there's like brain-eating slugs. There's like an alien invasion. The brain-eating slugs turns them into zombies. It's kind of like every B movie you could find. It just meshes that in with it. It's wild.
Super fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely check this one out. I actually watched this for the first time this week, and yeah, I love it. I really love this movie.
It has Night of the Living Dead vibes. It has Return of the Living Dead vibes. It has Reanimator vibes. If you guys saw that movie Slither, this is a huge inspiration for that film. Chicks with flamethrowers, Tom Atkins with a shotgun, really gory, brain slugs popping out, slugs climbing up the walls, little puppet alien monsters. I kid you not, this movie has everything. It reminds me of Critters. I love this movie. Good news, your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. Super fun, super solid. Just have a good time with this movie. Go watch it.
Oh yeah, just go in, turn your brain off, just have fun.
Yeah, so fun. Oh man. And I love it too because you have all these jock dudes, but at the end of the day, it's the sorority that comes through and saves the day. So.
The sorority and the nerd.
Yep. Oh, so good. And Tom Atkins, look, Night of the Creeps. That's so good. I love this.
Like, get him on screen. Get Tom Atkins on screen if you can. Beautiful man. Beautiful man.
That's stash, man. Oh yeah.
Beautiful man.
Tom Atkins and a beer. I'm set. Yeah, I gotta hide that from my wife. That's why I keep it. I don't want her to know what a real man looks like. Anyway, guys, let's do some plugs. Let's throw up some banners. What do you got going on? Tell people where to follow you.
Yep. So you can see me on Half Hour Horror every Saturday with you, Aaron. The Inside the Prophets Theater at blockofhorror.com. They got some new cool stuff coming in the virtual world soon. So check that out. Go there and check that out. It's coming very soon. I know y'all are working hard.
Yeah, there's
us some
big stuff. There's actually going to be some new games in there and some stuff to do. So it'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. So definitely check that out, of course. And then also on X at Block of Horror, YouTube Block of Horror. And then you can follow me personally on Letterboxd, on Instagram. My account's private, but if you request me, I'll accept you. And on Blue Sky, follow me on there to see what I'm watching, what I'm collecting, what we're talking about here. What's going on at the Block of Horror, going on with friends of Block of Horror, like Chaos's Wicked Horror Show, and upcoming Vampire Surfer Cult Kickstarter out right now.
Yeah, go check out the Kickstarter for Vampire Surf Cult. It's a independent.
I'll put the link to that. I'll put the link to that when this video airs. After it's done airing on the live, I'm going to put it in the comments on YouTube, and I'm going to also put it in the comments on X. So yeah, share that. Donate if you can, and yeah, just everything Block of Horror. Just check out what they're doing.
Yeah, awesome stuff. The blood coin word LOVE, love. I love you guys. Big hearts out. Appreciate everybody for tuning in time and time again. Go to the Discord, open up a ticket, type in the word love, and you'll get some blood coin. And of course, join us here on Saturdays. Oh, you can follow me Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky X, all that crap. Launchpad Pod, and on Instagram, McLean and Abel. That's my personal one, which again is private, but if you seem cool, I'll say what's up. Till next time, guys. Been the Half Hour Horror. Love you guys.
Bye.